out, the curtain never comes down on the real things that happen on the street of dreams. That's why I gave up acting to become a private investigator. I didn't meet Conrad Morgan the night he walked towards his compartment on the Quebec Limited. I wish now I had. Things might have been different.
Sir? What is it? Shall I call you for breakfast?
No, thank you. I don't want to be disturbed.
There was something waiting for Conrad Morgan in that room. Something about to happen which none of us could have foreseen, and which none of us would forget. You were going on your vacation.
There was a phone call for you. Mrs. Conrad Morgan. She's on her way over. I thought you might need me.
Relax. Bassett's in town. He can fill in. The back way. And call Bassett for me on your way out, huh?
Thanks, Johnny.
Have a good time.
Mr. Midnight?
Yes. Come in, Mrs. Morgan.
Thank you. You must forgive me for disturbing you at this late hour, but it's urgent. It's terribly urgent.
Please.
Thank you. Is this your office?
And home.
It's charming taste. It's charming.
Will you have some brandy, coffee?
No, nothing. I will come right to the point, Mr. Midnight. If you do not help my husband, he will be killed. Yes, it is as simple as that. Everyone has refused to help, even the police. And minutes are important. This probably is not enough, but it is all we have.
That doesn't matter. But where is your husband now?
He called from the station. Begged him not to go. But Conrad, that's my husband. He takes his work very seriously. Please, could you catch a plane and be there ahead of him?
Beware, Mrs. Morgan.
He is on the train. Did I forget to tell you that? He is on his way.
To Quebec, she said. And a few minutes later, Bassett and I were making a dash for the airport across my favorite street of my favorite town. 30 minutes is hardly time enough to make it to Idlewild Airport. But Bassett was driving, so that was his problem. Mine was to persuade Morgan to put his life in my hands. I got the tickets while Bassett parked the car. Our flight would arrive in Montreal in time to intercept Conrad Morgan's train. I wondered how Morgan would take it when I told him his wife had hired a bodyguard for him.
Excuse me. Sorry, gentlemen, this car's been blocked off. There's been an accident.
To Mr. Morgan? Mr. Conrad Morgan?
I'm Inspector Howard.
Oh, Inspector, this is my associate, Mr. Bassett. We flew in here to talk to Mr. Conrad Morgan.
I see. That's going to be a little difficult. You see, Mr. Morgan's dead.
Inspector, can I see the body?
Come along.
Sorry, man.
What?
Stabbed twice in the region of the heart. Apparently with a long, thin weapon we haven't been able to find yet. Must have put up quite a fight, what with that broken window and all.
Yeah. That could explain these scratches between the stab wounds. Oh, whoever did it, Morgan must have known him. Looks like they'd been drinking a while.
What was your business with Mr. Morgan?
His wife sent us up here to meet him. She was expecting trouble.
What kind of trouble?
Morgan was an East German, an engineer. He escaped over the border a few years ago, lived in Paris a while, then London. The last couple of years in New York. And I guess the East Germans wanted him back.
Why was he coming to Montreal?
He was on his way to Quebec to meet with a West German trade delegation. Do you have any idea what time it happened?
Well, the medical examiner fixes the time about 11, half past.
We're going back on the noon plane. You mind if we break the news to his wife?
Better that way, I should think.
As we landed in New York, I knew I had to face the toughest part of this assignment. Telling Mrs. Morgan that I'd been too late to save her husband's life, but not too late to try to find out who killed him. I'm sorry, Mrs. Morgan. Mrs. Morgan, was your husband a drinking man?
No. Just a little wine with dinner sometimes. Why do you ask?
Well, the autopsy showed quite an amount of alcohol in his blood.
He must have been terrified. Maybe he saw one of those men.
Tell me, these threats, when did they begin?
Paris, London. It seems we never lived without them.
And they continued over here.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. They stopped him from getting work. No, we've had a very hard time, Mr. Midnight. Oh, you didn't cash them.
Well, I'm afraid we haven't had much chance.
It wasn't any good. Forgive me. I had to have somebody to go and help Conrad immediately.
I understand.
During this last month, there wasn't a night, Mr. Midnight, that the phone didn't ring. Those nameless voices, those threats. Excuse me.
Mrs. Conrad Morgan?
Yes?
Sign here, please, from Maison Lily.
Well, this must be a mistake.
Are you Mrs. Morgan?
Yes.
Well, this is your dress.
You were saying about threats.
Yes. Yes, they were very angry with him going to Quebec. They forbade him to go. And then yesterday he decided he would.
I suppose there'd be correspondence in your husband's files to verify the fact that he was in touch with West German firms.
You don't believe me?
Well, I'm not saying that, Mrs. Morgan. You know, I want to find your husband's killer as much as you do.
Yes, of course. Thank you for everything that you have done.
Not at all. The whole picture had changed for me. That dress from the exclusive Maison Lily. Yet she had told me she was broke. Another thing that bothered me was the way she played her opening scene in my apartment. You don't take time out to admire the way an apartment is furnished if your husband's life is in danger, and you care. Money is a motive for murder, so I decided to check the insurance companies. I put Bassett on the dress angle, and I was still checking underwriters when he came back.
That was a good lead, Johnny. It was for her, all right. They showed me the sales slip. $139, a dress.
$139? Where'd she get the money?
A black dress, Johnny.
Black, huh? When did she order it?
The day before yesterday.
Uh-huh.
She only got word of her husband's death this morning.
Well, of course, it could be just a black dress. A lot of women wear black.
Or it could be widow's weeds.
Mr. Midnight's apartment? Oh, just a moment. George Wallace, Johnny.
Hello, George. Terry Hines of Mutual said you were trying to reach me, Johnny. What can I do for you?
Yes, do you have any policy on a Conrad Morgan?
Well, that's one I don't even have to check on. I got the claim right here. 3 policies totaling 75 grand. Double indemnity.
Beneficiary?
Well, there are 2 of them. A Mrs. Simone Morgan and a Mr. Hans Weidman.
Thanks, George. Who was Hans Weidman in Conrad Morgan's life that Morgan should make him the beneficiary of a fat insurance policy? A few phone calls to the right places gave me some interesting information on Weidman, but there were still some blanks I wanted to fill in. And I figured the best person to help me do that was Weidman himself. He owned a machine shop in Long Island City.
It's too bad. Everything Morgan touched. In Paris, in London, New York, everything turned to dust.
Okay, Mr. Weidman. You can drop him now.
Some Germans are unlucky, I guess. I gave him work here, but this wasn't for him. He was a research engineer, you know. I did everything I could to help. I loaned him money. Quite a bit.
And he signed over an insurance policy to you.
Well, yes, but just as kind of collateral.
You know Mrs. Morgan?
Yes, but we don't communicate. Conrad was my friend.
I see.
While he was alive, she was the luckiest woman in the world. He worshipped her. He's a man devotedly in love. A rare thing. Well, let's see, you were hired by Mrs. Morgan in her moment of need, weren't you?
That's right.
Now that emergency is over, right?
True.
You've been dismissed from the case, haven't you?
Mrs. Morgan told you that?
Well, I had reason to communicate with her this morning, yes.
I'm sure you did. In view of your common interest in insurance matters and the urgency of your overextended business operation.
Meaning?
Meaning you need your share of the insurance to save your company. We ran a check. But if we suggest to the insurance people there might be something strange about Mr. Morgan's death, you may have to wait a long time for your money.
You were hired by Mrs. Morgan to protect her husband. You arrived too late.
Too late to prevent murder. But not too late.
Not trying to kill you, Mr. Midnight. Just letting you out.
I had gotten the message, all right. From now on, I'd have to keep looking over my shoulder. From now on, I was Weidman's target. There was more to Conrad Morgan's story than either his widow or Hans Weidman were willing to tell. Maybe Morgan's insurance file would give me a lead. When were the policies taken out?
I went down that alley. Dead end. Morgan took him out 2 years ago, as soon as he arrived in the country. No, we could dig forever and not be able to tack fraud onto this one.
How old was Morgan?
52.
Health?
Okay. Except, we did have to turn him down 6 months ago when he tried to increase the size of his policy.
Why?
Well, apparently he was beginning to crack up. Some kind of strain. Our doctors checked him and then told us to pass. There's a notation here in his file. He committed himself to the Westlake Sanitarium. A Dr. Lowell handled him. Then he came back and claimed he was okay again and tried to increase his policies once more, but we weren't budging.
What happens to the picture of Mrs. Morgan and Weidman had him killed?
Look, Johnny, I've got police reports here, both from here and Montreal. Morgan died at 11:30 p.m. Both the widow and Weidman have airtight alibis.
That was the Westlake Sanitarium.
Yeah, why?
Dr. Lowell.
Yeah? What's in your mind, Johnny?
Oh, it's what Lowell found in Morgan's mind that might be more helpful.
Come again?
I will if I score. See you. Even though Wallace was willing to pay off, I wasn't satisfied. Somehow or other, I had a feeling that a trip to New Jersey to visit the Westlake Sanitarium would be a good investment. So it was under the Hudson River, up into Jersey, out the gate at Newark Station. The therapy room at Westlake Sanitarium, where people worked at things with their hands under the watchful guidance of staff doctors to help them get off the make-believe stages on which they had been acting out their lives for so long. They were not actors, though. They were for real. And to them, their little make-believe worlds were for real, too.
Sorry about the interruption. I can't say that there won't be more.
I understand, Dr. Long.
Suppose we sit right here for a little while. Miss Conrad Morgan was a patient here about 6 months ago. I don't think you'll find anything in his case history, though, that will give you the clue that you're looking for.
I don't know what kind of clue it is I'm looking for, Doctor. It's just that I'm hoping that somewhere in the factors contributing to Conrad Morgan's mental condition, there might be some lead as to what happened to him on that train.
Morgan was a desperately unhappy man.
Because he was unable to get work at his chosen field.
Right. As for failing his wife, well, he was despondent over the fact that he hadn't been able to provide for her the things that he once had been able to.
It's a pretty big load for a melancholy man to carry around.
Oh, yes, it was a heavy load for Morgan to bear in his state of mind, deep depression. But I think that we had begun to lighten it a little bit. Oh, hello. We're in your seat, aren't we? This is yours, too, isn't it? It's coming fine. Yes, we had begun to lighten it a bit, I think, and if he'd been with us just a little bit longer.
What happened? Did he give up?
Oh, no. No, I'm sure that he would have stuck it out, but his wife decided that the progress here was too slow.
Oh.
And she convinced him that he shouldn't expose himself to this.
Thank you, Doctor.
I hope I've been of some help.
Doctor, what would you say if I were to tell you that Morgan carried $75,000 worth of life insurance, which would pay double in case of accidental death, and murder, of course, would be considered that, and that his wife was the principal beneficiary?
I'd hesitate to speculate on that, except to say that if he had time for a conscious thought before his death, I think it was one of welcome for his assassin. For by his death, he was able to give his wife the one thing that he'd never been able to give her in life: financial security.
Goodbye, Doctor.
Goodbye.
It was the rush hour time, and I wanted a chance to think. So I took the ferry across the Hudson River back to New York. Dr. Lowell's final speech was getting curtain calls in my head. Now I knew what he meant. And I knew, too, that Frau Morgan and Hans Weidman were co-starring in a scene that was more personal than sharing her dead husband's insurance.
Whose face are you punching, Johnny?
Mine. For letting Mrs. Morgan and Weidman make a patsy out of me.
A patsy?
Sure, she sent me to Montreal to tell the police there that it was murder, but she knew better. And so did White.
I'm afraid you've lost me, Johnny.
Look. You remember those scratches on Morgan's chest between the stab wounds?
Yes?
Well, Morgan probably did that when he was feeling between his ribs for a space to drive the weapon in.
But that's saying Morgan committed suicide.
That's right. And she deliberately drove him to it. She knew all along he was going to do it. He probably told her that night when he called her from the station.
Johnny, you've got no evidence.
Frau Morgan had a date to meet a favorite character of mine, Gerhard Hauptmann, to be played by that one-time actor, Johnny Midnight. I was already on stage in a wig and costume. A few minutes, just how convincing I'd be in the role in which I'd cast myself. Frau Morgan.
Yes.
Would you like to have something to drink? This is not a good German beer, but...
No, thank you. Herr Hauptmann, I came here only because you said over the phone that you were a close friend of my husband's and that you wished to discuss some urgent matters concerning him. May I ask, where did you know my husband?
Well, we are good Germans. We became close friends at the... I do not like to use the word sanitarium.
You mean you were one of the inmates?
Please, do not say that. I was a guest, like a husband.
Yes, of course. I understand.
It happened we were on the train together to Montreal.
Oh. Then you do know that he was murdered?
No, he committed suicide, and he made it look like murder.
What are you saying?
Your husband and I, we have a lot of drinks together on the train. He tells me what he is going to do and why. Not even the police know the truth.
This is fantastic. I will not listen to this madness any longer. Let me go, or I will cry for help.
No, you won't. I've read in the paper there's insurance. Like your husband, I am poor German. Unless you make it worth my while, I will go to the police. You will not even collect 5 cents.
How did you ever get out of the sanitarium? Wiedersehen, Mr. Hauptmann.
Your friend seems to have gotten you into a lot of trouble, Mrs. Morgan. Frau Morgan and Hans Weidman were turned over to the police. The Lindy sandwiches and the laughs from the Broadway regulars didn't seem satisfying to me that night. I kept thinking about a little old man lying in a Pullman with a hole he had stabbed in his heart for the sake of the woman he loved, and how she had even messed up his final self-sacrifice for her. So I took a walk down Broadway, a street for any mood. What did somebody call it? The hardened artery of New York.